We take a break from our party all the way up in Northwich to hear the sad, pathetic tale of a poor, worthless little man over in the town of Aerilon before all that unfortunate business. His name is Damien. Damien, do you have anything to say about yourself?
Hello. Nothing really.
How informative. Damien lives in a tiny, dirty squabble of a house with his young sister. His parents were brutally murdered by a horrible, nasty bear. I wouldn't know anything about that. And he barely lives day to day by hunting. Well, Damien, let me explain to you where it is that you are. You are, of course, in your small, dirty hovel of a home with your young sister. This home of yours is in the town of Aerilon. Is there anyone you'd like to speak to?
I speak to my sister.
Well, what are you going to say?
I'm going to say, "Hi, Sissy, how are you doing?"
I'm really hungry, big brother. I'm very hungry. I'm so weak and sick and dying.
I offer her some of my rations.
You want to give up one of your day's rations to your sister.
Yes.
Is this correct? All right, then. Remove a day's rations. Your sister very greedily feasts herself upon the dried meat and stale bread from your food ration. She will survive today, having eaten plenty. What would you like to do?
I would like to go out and hunt.
You'd like to go out to the forest.
Yes.
As you wish. You exit your dirty hovel of a home in the town of Aerilon, out into the streets, where you are met with the smells of fresh bread from the bakery, wood dust from the sawmill. You can hear the sounds of children playing in the streets. It's a beautiful day out, with the sun shining. You travel eastwards towards the forest, ignoring all of those things, because screw it, and go off into the wilderness for the hunt. Well, you're in the forest. What do you want to do now?
I want to track. I want to track check and see if there are any nearby prey I could track.
Very well. Give me a roll.
I rolled a 55.
I see. Well, it would seem that Lady Luck is not on your side, as you find no fresh tracks of any animals. Completely cold turkey in this region, I'm afraid. What else would you like to do?
I'd like to wander around the forest and examine my surroundings.
Very well. You wander aimlessly around the forest, Going around trees, trees, more trees, a bush, and some more trees. You do this for some amount of time. Let me see. Does anything... After some time of doing this, you think you see something. Something over in the grass. Perhaps you should take a closer look.
I shall.
Well, go on then, over to the grassy knoll. You take a look-see, and you see some tracks of some variety. Why don't you give me a quick roll?
Roll. I rolled a 6.
Excellent. You determined through your shrewd knowledge of the wilderness that these are the tracks of a small rabbit. Well, I suppose a normal-size rabbit, just it is small in size. Perhaps you should track this rabbit, or perhaps not. What would you like to do?
Which way do the tracks go?
Off in some direction. Why don't you give me a roll to see how well you're able to follow them? If that's what you intend to do.
61.
Geez, you are not having any luck today. You immediately lose the tracks and find yourself lost in the forest. It would appear that you're having no shortage of bad luck today. It's a wonder your sister hadn't died by now.
I want to go back to where I saw the tracks earlier and plant my snare.
Okay. How are you going to do that? You're lost.
Can I find my way back?
Give me a roll.
19.
Very well. Though your tracking skills are lacking, your abilities to determine your location are quite adept indeed. You discern how to find your way back to where the tracks began. Perhaps you should investigate the area around them a bit more.
I shall.
Well?
Do you need a roll?
Yes, I believe I do.
49.
Well, you're about as dumb as shit, aren't you? You find Jack squat.
I want to plant my snare.
Sure, why not? Go right ahead. You plant it. It's there. You find a spot you think would be alright. It's been several hours, by the way, at this point, and is now running into the evening. After all, you're running about in the wilderness.
I want to return home.
As you wish. It takes you a couple hours to navigate your way out of the forest, but eventually you do find your way back to the town of Aerilon, and it seems no worse for wear, although the sun is setting. The same smells that you had once smelled in the early daytime have been replaced by a wet smell.
Hmm.
Well, you're in town. What do you want to do?
Hmm. What is around me at the current moment?
Well, town. Do you want to know what locations are in said town?
Yes.
Very well. I shall inform you. Let's see. Which one was that? No. Yes. All right. The town of Aerilon. The town of Aerilon is a fairly large farming town, which contains within it a church, an inn, a general store, a farm, a blacksmith, a ranch for horses, a bakery, a mill, a sawmill, the Beastmen Guild, town hall, a tavern, and of course, your little squalor. Well, I'm waiting.
Let me see the bakery.
Very
I want to go to
well,
the
you
bakery.
march yourself over to the bakery. The door is closed, and the lights are out. Save for one lit in the back. It is now fully night time, by the way, as the sun has set and darkness is deepening over the land.
I return home to my sister.
As you wish. You return home to your squalor, where your sister now sits on the dirt floor, scribbling something with a stick into the dirt. She welcomes you. Oh, brother, did you catch anything today?
Nothing today. Maybe better luck next time.
She disappointedly returns to scribbling in the dirt, let down by her massive failure of a brother. Well then, you're in your house. What do you plan to do?
What is she drawing?
She seems to be trying to, well, do much of nothing, just general scribbles of indiscernible nature.
I assume there's nothing much inside of this house? This
Not
squalor?
really, no.
Well, I sit down for a moment.
Very well. And?
I slowly begin to drift off to sleep.
Alright, you sit down in the mud and the dirt, and eventually you fall asleep without having eaten anything for the day. You awaken the next morning by your sister, who shakes you awake very, very early in the morning, just before the sun rises. Brother, it's time to get up.
Is it already?
She runs off in some direction in the house, doing, you're unsure of what, just general things. You are now awake, early morning, in the town of Aerilon in your squabble. What do you want to do?
I want to revisit the bakery.
Very well. The sun has begun to rise as you arrive at the bakery, whose doors are now open, and the smells of bread beginning to bake can be smelt in the air, wafting through. Would you like to do something?
I would like to go inside.
Very well. You go inside the bakery, where now the strong aroma of fresh-baked goods punches you hard in your face hole. You see a very large man in the back somewhere, baking away. There's a counter in front of you where various baked goods have already been placed for display.
I'm going to walk up to the counter and examine some of the baked goods.
You do so, and you see things like rolls, and breads, and pies, and cakes. The baker is quite quick and quite adept at his craft. He notices you and comes out. Are you one of those dirty beggars coming round for free foods again?
No, sir. I assure you, I'm not.
Oh, good! I sure do hate dirty beggars! I'd kill every last one of them! What, pray tell, are you here for today?
I was wanting the price of some of your goods.
Well, what is it you're looking to buy, young dirty man?
Just some bread.
Breads will cost you 2 copper. Each.
I'd like to buy 3, please.
Very well, give me the money, you dirty boy.
I give him the coppers.
You hand over 6 of your coppers, reducing your money to half, and he hands over 3 loaves of freshly baked breads.
Thank you very much, sir.
Well, are you going to leave, or are you just going to stand there all day?
I leave.
You do so, entering back out into the streets where the sounds of children playing can be heard. The sun is shining as it was yesterday, though there are a few more clouds than there were the day before. You are standing there with a bag of breads.
Does it look like it may rain today?
Give me a roll, let's see how much you know about weather.
14.
You're quite adept at your weather knowledge. It indeed will rain, but probably not till tonight.
Alright. I return home.
Very well, you do so.
As I walk into the door, I take a loaf of bread out and snap it and split it in half.
Very well, you do so. You walk into a door, you break a loaf of bread, and just stand there.
Where's my sister? Where's Sissy?
She comes running round, up to you. It's like, you bought bread! Oh, but how will we afford the rent? Did you have extra?
I'll find a way.
What would you like to do? I'm assuming you want to give your bread.
Yes, I would like to give her half.
You give your little sister half a bread, who excitedly gobbles it down, having eaten for the day.
I munch on the other half.
You eat today. Only half a day's worth, though, but it'll keep you going.
I pat her on the head and say, I'm heading out again. Be safe, alright? You know what to do.
She acknowledges what you say, and you head back outside.
I'm going back out to the forest.
You travel westward to the forest and enter into it. Give me a roll.
27.
You're able to track your own tracks back and find where it was you had placed the snare originally.
I assume nothing is there at the moment? Nothing
You check the trap. Let me see. Unfortunately, the snare has nothing in it.
Okay, that's fine.
It's an empty snare.
Alright. I want to begin tracking again.
You mean you want to look around?
Yes.
Give me a roll.
1.
Ooh, excellent. You find fresh tracks nearby your snare. Rabbit tracks.
Can I tell the size of the rabbit?
It's a fairly good-sized rabbit, maybe multiple. You begin tracking it through the forest with your expert tracking skills. Perhaps a night's sleep was all it was needed. You are fresh on the trail when, well, let me see. You notice the sounds of a low rumbling. A deep, bassy sound.
Do I know which way it's coming from?
Why, it's coming from the direction of the tracks.
Okay. Do I see any movement?
You think you can make out something, but it's a fair distance away.
How much is a fair distance?
Far enough that you can neither make out the size nor shape of the moving object. Merely a dance of shadows, just ever so slowly, a far ways off through the corners of the trees.
I want to creep forward and try and get a little closer.
Very well. Why don't you give me another roll?
52.
52. Well, you attempt to make yourself unheard, but as you approach, you step on several leaves and twigs, making your location known. And unfortunately, at just the wrong time, as you do stumble upon the creature that was making the sound. Someone that you sadly know all too well. The monster of the forest. The beast and bastard that killed your own parents. Brutus the bear. He stands on all fours, 8 feet in height. His fur is all sorts of ragged, dirty, covered in blood. Bolts and arrows stick out, broken, on his skin and fur. He is missing one eye and is covered in nasty, gnarled scars. And he has taken immediate notice of you, and is hungry. Well then, what would you like to do?
I would like to try and quickly climb a tree.
As you wish. You deftly climb a tree well before Brutus has any chance of catching you. However, this victory is short-lived, as Brutus himself begins to knock the tree down. He keeps smashing on it with his body, and you hear the cracking of wood. Is there anything you'd like to do?
Cracking. Is there another tree nearby I can leap to?
It's a fair distance, but perhaps, just maybe. Why don't you give us a roll?
100.
Oh boy. You attempt to jump to the other tree, but fall short. Well, actually, not even fall short. You actually do make it to the other tree, only to smack your head headlong into the branch, knocking yourself nearly unconscious and falling to the forest floor. You take 3 points of damage.
Nice.
Smacking yourself into the floor, and you are now face to face with Brutus. Well, what do you want to do?
I want to try and get away.
You want to flee, very well. You are now in a chase with Brutus, and he's right on your ass. Give me a roll.
13.
You're quite the depth mover. You manage to swerve your way through trees and shrubbery and branches, Brutus's large body stumbling through, bashing his way into trees and shrubbery as you have been avoiding. You gain some distance from him, but he's not done the chase yet. You have still a long ways to go. You continue running. There's a stream in front of you. A long river to either side. You won't be able to go around. You'll have to go through it. Or simply go another direction, and perhaps Brutus will give up the chase. Who knows? It's up to you.
How far away am I from Brutus?
Not far. You have
Not
maybe 10 yards distance between the two of you.
I want... Can I shoot an arrow, try and shoot his other eye?
You may attempt to fire a bow off behind you, quickly, if you'd like.
31.
Alright. Give me a second roll.
38.
Excellent. Very well. You fire off an arrow behind you while managing not to lose your footing. The arrow flies off towards Brutus, spiking him right into the back, but snapping almost immediately on impact. It seems to do very little, but slow him ever so slightly down. You increase your distance by a little bit, but you still have yet the water in front of you.
I want to turn to the right once I get to the stream.
Alright, you want to, instead of traveling through the stream, you decide to dodge right and follow the stream downstream. Brutus does not give up the chase, and he continues to hunt you down. You continue forward. There's a fallen tree in front of you.
Is the distance, this is still the same, correct? Or just,
The distance has increased to around 15 yards.
Alright. I want to stop for a moment and shoot another arrow.
You want to stop entirely and fire an arrow?
Momentarily, yes.
Very well. Give me a roll.
45.
Your arrow breaks off without causing any substantial damage to Brutus, and he immediately catches up to you. He swipes, but unfortunate for him, lucky for you, he manages to whiff just as you dodge under his massive paw, and you'll have to and you run back into the forest. The distance between you now is minuscule, and at any moment he could completely envelop you.
What else is around me? Is there anything of notice?
Well, you're running through the forest, and there's lots of trees as there are. Continuing forward, though, you notice... Oh no. There's a bit of a gap. A drop into a rocky chasm. Not so deep as to would kill you if you were to fall in, but enough that it would stop you entirely if you did.
I want to try and make my way over there.
Very well. You run over to the chasm. What do you do?
How deep
Please
is it?
stop sucking on your teeth. Please. I hate mouth
How deep
sounds.
is it?
Huh?
How deep is it?
I just explained. It's deep enough that you would not be able to... it would not harm you to fall into it. It would simply impede your progress entirely.
Alright, I want to jump down.
You want to jump into the chasm?
Well, actually, correct that.
I would like to inform you that this hole that I am talking about is not long. It is not something that you could run through.
Okay.
It is merely a drop that would impede you if you were to go into it. An obstacle, if you will.
Never mind. Is there anything around it? Is there anything on the other side?
More forest, but trees obscure your vision all that far ahead.
I'm going to go around the chasm as best I can.
Give me a roll.
71.
Ooh. Unfortunately, your attempts to go around the chasm instead of trying to simply jump it causes Brutus to catch up that small, minuscule gap between you. And he strikes with a vengeance. You were immediately knocked unconscious into the side of a tree. The last thing you hear is a large growl. And then nothing. You awaken sometime later. However, you don't know how long it's been. You're severely wounded, only having a single point of health left. One of your eyes is obscured with blood coming from your head, as you had struck it quite badly against the tree. Your ribs, you can only assume them to be, well, possibly cracked or broken, and it's a difficulty to move. You feel quite cold. It's the middle of the night, and it's raining. The rain was likely the only thing that managed to wake you up.
Oh.
You don't know where you are. You're cold. You're wounded. And if anything finds you, you might die.
Can I see anything around? Am I
Give
still in the same
me-
location I was before?
Give me a roll.
63.
You're in the location where Brutus had hit you. There is the small hole. There is the hole, the little chasm that you noticed earlier, still nearby to where you are. Brutus is nowhere to be seen. He seems to have lost interest after battering you. Perhaps something had caught his interest afterwards. Perhaps Brutus was never hungry in the first place.
Well, I am going to try and find my way home.
You want to try to make it home.
Yes, see if I can find my way back.
Very well, I suppose. Give me a roll. This will be a strength roll to see how well you can move.
61.
Not well at all. You're struggling even to make the most minor of gains. Your wounds are quite severe. Though with some rest and medicine you believe you might be able to recover, you're not going to be able to make much headway. You'll likely need to stay where you are and recover for now. Though without medical attention at the same time, it's likely that you'll bleed out and die.
How much am I, Do I know if I have any internal bleeding?
That's not something that someone of your time would really necessarily know in your position.
Okay.
I will say that you were able to move short distances, though, by the way. You were not completely immobile, simply severely limited in your ability to move.
You said the blood from my head injury has come down and covered my eye, correct?
One of your eyes, yes. You took a strike to the back of your head.
Is it still bleeding?
There is some bleeding, yes.
Is there anything I could do, or is there anything I could potentially do to alleviate this?
Why don't you tell me?
I want to try and move forward some more.
I already told you, you can only go short distances. You'll be able to make no headway today. You'll have to get creative. Think.
Are there any... Are there any plants nearby? Is there...
There's plants everywhere. You're in the forest.
What kind of plants are around me?
All sorts of plants. What kind of plants are you looking for? Be specific now. If you want an answer, you have to ask the right question.
Can I spot any plants that I know have medicinal properties nearby me?
Better. Give me a natural world roll.
46.
Unfortunately, you're unable to discern which plants are good and which ones aren't. You believe that you find two plants. One, you believe, could be a medicine, the other, a deadly poison. But they're very similar plants, and you can't remember which one was which.
Can I... No, that wouldn't work.
If you find the right one, it stops bleeding. The wrong one poisons the body.
Can I try and examine, maybe determine the difference, if any, between the two? Or can I not examine any further?
I will tell you what the plants look like. They're both green plants. Both contain red spots. But there is a slight difference. One has fuzzy leaves, while the other does not. If only there was a way you could try to figure out what effect they had more directly. You ponder and ponder, hearing the sounds of nearby birds and small animals.
I take off some of the... are these pods removable from the one flower?
They're leaves that you may remove.
I want to remove some and place some nearby. See if any of the wildlife will eat them.
Very well. You place the pods, or rather the leaves, you pluck them and place them somewhere nearby, but nothing eats either leaf. Nothing seems quite interested in them.
I toss the flower with the pods and see if I can collect more.
Nothing has any pods. There's no flowers.
Sorry.
They are green leaves that have red
sorry.
spots.
Sorry.
One
bad.
with fuzzy leaves, the other with not.
I throw away the one with the fuzzy leaves. Apologies.
Very
And
well.
Seek out more of the ones that do not have any fuzzy leaves.
You collect the non-fuzzy leaf plant. You know that if you have chosen correctly, that you can mash this down with a rock into a type of paste that you could put onto open wounds.
I'm going to try it.
You gather a nearby rock, start to grind down the leaf into a sort of paste on it, and apply it to your open wounds. And it appears to stop the bleeding. You regain 1 HP, by the way, bringing you to 2.
Okay. One step forward.
Well, you're not going to die immediately anymore, but you're still severely injured and are unable to move distances for now. What else would you like to do while you're here? Several hours have passed, by the way. The moon is close to going down.
Are there any other injuries on my body? Do I have any on my legs, or is that, or on my arms, or is that all?
Well, you stopped the bleeding of all the open wounds. You really only had the open wound on the back of your head, which was bleeding, but also you had a few cuts and scrapes along the rest of your body, which you stopped the bleeding of. As for your other injuries, they are mostly injuries that were caused by blunt force from the hit from the bear, Brutus. Including your leg being sprained, which is making moving quite difficult, as well as the busted ribs.
Seems like there's not much else I can do. I guess I will just rest until morning.
In the rain?
Fair enough. There are no caves nearby?
There is that hole we discussed.
Probably in my condition, I'm not best to go down there. Do I,
You have difficulty traveling, but that does not mean that you are an invalid. You are capable, yet still, of making things. Do not forget this.
Can I grab some nearby plants and attempt to make something a bit of a
Use your big boy words.
A little bit of a tent, if you will.
You want to try to produce a shelter from the surrounding foliage.
Yes.
As you wish. Give me a survival roll.
37.
You manage to collect up some vines, branches, and other various things, and put together a simple, yet effective, little shelter, which keeps you away from the rain, keeping you quite dry. However, it is still quite cold, and you worry that you'll get a fever soon.
Can I collect some more sticks and stones nearby, try to create a fire?
Yes, however, given the rain, it will be a hard roll. Give me a survival roll with your fire starter.
82.
Ooh, massive failure. Unfortunately, even with your skills in survival, you are unable to light a flame in the rain. You'll just have to go cold, I'm afraid.
Unfortunately.
Anything else you want to do?
I observed my area around me one more time.
What is it you're looking for?
Any potential threats?
You do not see anything tonight.
I rest until morning, then.
Very well. Nothing troubles you during the night time. You recover a point of health. From your resting.
Okay.
It is now morning. Given that you were quite injured and badly wounded, even with your bleeding stopped, it unfortunately is the case that, well, you slept quite a long time and is already past midday.
Nothing else is around me, correct? Nothing, no animals?
Well, you can hear various animals, birds mostly.
Has the sprain in my leg gone away?
Of course not, it's only been a day.
Didn't figure.
Oh, by the way, your
raining?
bread has become ruined, just FYI.
Is it still raining?
No, it's not raining anymore. You are quite hungry, by the way. After all, the day before you went out, you only had half a loaf of bread. and haven't eaten since then. And with all your injuries, you'll probably need to eat quite a bit to help you recover.
I want to try and make another fire. See if I can potentially signal for help. If there are any other people that happen to be out there in the woods.
You gather a few more materials and attempt to begin a blaze. Give me a roll.
77.
77. Nope, the wood is still too wet to start a fire.
Are there any branches nearby me of significant length?
What do you want to do with it?
I would like to try and make or try and use one as a crutch or a walking crutch.
You want to try to craft a walking stick of sorts,
Yes.
a crutch.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a roll. See how successful you are.
17.
It was a good effort, but unfortunately you're unable to produce something of... something that can help you with your walking.
Well.
You'll have to hobble around as usual again today.
Guess so. I'm going to try and see if I can make any sort of distance forward. See if there's anything else of note I can detect, whether it be...
I will tell you, by the way, that you are mostly crawling. I.e., dragging yourself along with your arms.
That's fine.
So when I say short distances, I do mean short distances.
Well. What else can I do? Well,
I will let you know, by the way, that you still have in your possession... Well, you forgot that you had brought it, but when you went to check your snare before, you actually did bring it. You decided to try to move it, since it didn't produce any results in the location before. You had forgotten you'd done so, but you do have a snare with you.
are there any berry bushes nearby?
Sadly, no.
Well, I'm going to try and place it, nearby a tree, just a nearby tree.
Alright, you set it up just nearby somewhere. What else would you like to do?
Well,
It is now getting close to sundown.
I would like to, I'd like to crawl to a nearby tree, and my quiver is still on my back, correct?
You still have your bow and arrow, and you will still be able to use it, yes.
Mm-hmm. I take off my quiver and set it beside me for easier access to my arrows.
Very well.
I'm going to take a sip of my water skin and simply watch the snare quietly.
Just watch the snare?
Just watch the snare, see if anything stumbles into it.
You watch for several hours until night falls, but nothing comes.
Not worth the spot I put it in, then. I'm going... what time is it right now? Is it nighttime, or is it towards the evening?
Nope, it is fully night.
Think I'd find anything else?
You can hear the sounds of frogs and toads and other various nightlife.
Are the branches, are the trees still wet? Is everything still wet from the rain?
Not as much as it was before.
I would like to try
It
and
would
kindle
seem quite dry, yes.
I would like to try and kindle a small flame.
Once again, you fail to manage to put together a fire. The striker just won't light the branches. It would seem you'll go another night without any warmth.
Well... Well, I guess I will rest and wait until morning then.
You decide to go asleep once again, this time without any food. Once again. You recover a point of health. However, waking up in the morning, you feel almost worse, and assume that if you don't find something to eat soon, that your health will begin to deteriorate. Perhaps you should hunt something nearby.
My snare is still in its previous position, correct?
Indeed.
Nothing is there, again, correct?
Incorrect.
No?
In the night-time, a squirrel had wandered into it, and is now caught in your snare.
I assume it's still alive?
Of course, it's only a snare.
I am going to take one of... how far away am I from the snare?
Close enough that you can get to it.
I take out one of my arrows, and I stab the squirrel in the head.
You do so. You now have a squirrel carcass.
Nice. I free the corpse from the snare, and I, begin to skin it. Or, sorry, not skin it. That's the wrong words. I would like to try and, gut it for meat. What little I can.
I will let you know that you don't have a knife.
Okay.
But
is there a
you
sharp
may
enough rock?
attempt to do so with a rock. And it will take a survival roll.
Alright, I'm going to try that. I rolled a 77.
You butcher it.
Well,
You think you might be able to get some bits of meat out of it, but The body is mostly butchered, and you only manage to get out a few bloody, hairy scraps of meat from it, losing most of the body in the process.
Just a few scraps, then. How much would you describe as a few scraps?
Not a day's worth of food.
Didn't think so. Well, I'm going to consume another part of one of my rations.
Very well, you eat one of your day's rations, leaving you with only one left. Though you feel quite restored having done so.
I want to try and move the snare to a slightly different location. This time, nearby one of the bushes.
You do so. The snare is now positioned nearby a bush.
I'm gonna try the fire route again. I want to try and make another signal fire.
Very well. A fresh new day, a fresh new start. Perhaps you can do it. Give me a roll.
26.
Success! You actually managed to get the fire going this time.
Took me enough tries.
You now have a fire nearby to where your shelter is.
I want to try and make any of the I want to try and cook up any of these squirrel bits that I have left, like that I've salvaged.
You place them on a stick, skewering them, and roasting them over the fire, producing some small bits of butchered squirrel meat.
Alright. How big is this? How big is this fire?
Big
Just a small
enough.
campfire?
Just a small campfire, but it's big enough.
Are there any different kind of animals around me this time around? Any of notice? Any of threat?
In the morning? No, nothing of note.
Is there do I have any leftover squirrel meat?
You just have what you cooked. That's it.
The corpse is still
You
there,
have
right?
some roasted squirrel bits.
Is the squirrel corpse still there? What's left of it?
It's a butchered, mangled mess, which you won't be able to get anything out of.
I would like to try and put it. How injured are my arms? Can I still throw things?
Your arms are not injured whatsoever.
I want to throw one a bit of a distance away. I want to see if any small predators come by.
Okay, sure. You throw the mangled carcass of the squirrel a distance away from you. Now what?
I want to have my bow at the ready in case something does come by. How... The sprain on my leg, I assume, has not healed at all. None, correct?
It's been healing, has not fully healed yet.
Okay, I want to simply watch both my snare and the corpse that I threw out for any prey.
Nothing comes by. You wait until the night time, the fire goes out. Since you didn't watch it. And as I said, nothing comes by. It's now the middle of the night.
I can't see nothing in front of me, correct?
It's just, well, night in the forest.
Can I try and make another walking stick? Or can I... No, that wouldn't work.
What
go back
wouldn't?
to...
You don't know, you haven't tried. What is it?
I'm going to go back to the walking stick idea. Can I try and make that again? Or can I not see enough?
The crutch? What was the other... I heard you mention something else. What was the thing you thought of? That you immediately rejected before even bringing it up? I want to know what it was.
I was thinking of taking some sticks and potentially carving them into a fine point. Something I could potentially stab something or an
Sure,
animal.
you can absolutely do that. You can makeshift a weapon. Let's give it a roll. Well, you managed to just about get the stick sharpened. However, in the middle of your process, you break the stick, unfortunately resulting in a broken spear.
Well, dang. This just isn't my day.
I don't think you'll ever have a day.
Can I try again?
No,
No.
not today. The
I
moon
can't
is high in the sky, by the way. Sounds of night creatures can be heard.
Such as?
Coyotes and wolves howling in the distance.
I want to keep my bow at the ready and try and stay alert for some more of the night.
How long?
A few hours until the sounds of coyotes and wolves go away.
Nothing comes by, but the sounds do not go away.
Still at the middle of the night?
It's later. It's now several hours have passed and the moon is close to setting.
I'm going to rest for the rest of the night.
Very well. You awaken late the next morning. Your eating, as well as your resting and such, seems to have done quite wonders for you. You regain 2 whole points of health, and your leg feels pretty good.
Do I think I'll be able to walk?
Give me a roll.
72.
Short distances you can walk, however your leg is not well enough that you'd be able to stand on your own 2 feet for too long. Not without any assistance.
Is there anything in the snare or on the squirrel?
The squirrel is gone, and a rabbit has been caught in your snare.
I'm going to try and shoot it with my bow.
Just, okay, sure. Give me a roll.
Oh no, 99.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Your bow snaps, smacking you in the head,
Nice.
taking a point of damage off of you from blunt force. You now no longer have a bow.
Well, I'm going to try and stab the rabbit with my one of my arrows. Then
Very well, you do so.
I now have a rabbit carcass.
Yes, you do.
I want to revisit the walking stick idea again. Can I try and make another attempt at making one?
You attempt to do so, but as before, you are unsuccessful in putting one together. You simply can't find branches strong enough to support your weight.
I'm going to try and walk some more for just a short distance.
You do so, attempting to get your strength up.
Can I try and hold on to any branches on the trees that I can reach to support me?
You can reach for several branches nearby, yes.
I want to try and hold one, see if any of them can support me.
Well, the ones attached to the tree itself certainly seem to be able to, yes.
Are there multiple trees in succession close by to each other within arm's reach?
Well enough that you could travel, yes. However, it would be very slow.
I'm going to try it.
Very well. You travel some distance away from your shelter and your equipment. However, you do not make it out of the forest by the time it is now deep into the night.
What all have I left behind in terms of equipment?
You forgot to bring your snare, and you left your fire pit, as well as your shelter.
Well, I'm going to try and makeshift another weapon.
Fell on the ground.
Are you okay?
Yes. No, I said the dice. It fell on the ground.
I didn't hear the dice part. All I heard was fell on the ground. My bad.
You attempt to craft a spear once again. However, find that once again, halfway through the process, you accidentally manage to break it. You spend around an hour on this task.
I'm going to try and continue moving forward.
You do so. You collapse. You take 1 point of damage from overexertion. You won't be able to move at all, and are now laying face down on the forest floor. You pass out. And here you were almost recovered. You awaken late in the afternoon, once again passed out on the forest floor. Your sprained ankle is now badly swollen and you can't walk.
Well, I guess I'm gonna try and make another makeshift weapon again.
You fail.
Are there any plants that I know of that have medicinal properties to ease pain?
No.
Do I still have the rabbit corpse on me?
Yes.
I want to take a rock and try, if there are any rocks nearby, I want to try and gut it.
Very well. Give me a roll.
29.
You somehow successfully managed to tear apart the rabbit corpse and get an entire full day's worth of meat out of it. With a rock.
Yay. Are there any of those flowers that I saw earlier with the fluffy leaves on them around me?
Yes. Fuzzy leaves.
I want to pick some and try to make it into a paste.
You do so.
I want to coat a piece of the meat that I have acquired, and throw it somewhere close to me, somewhere just a little close, maybe 20 feet from me.
You do so.
And I guess I will sit here and watch, see if there are any prey that comes by.
You pass out. You awaken. No HP has been restored as you did not eat. Nothing has come by to the meat, though the swelling in your leg has gone somewhat down, but you still can't walk.
What time is it right now?
The afternoon.
Afternoon. Nothing's on the meat. What of the meat that I had earlier?
You still have some.
It's not ruined?
Not that you can discern, no. But it is getting old.
I'm going to try and make a fire. Another one.
Give me a roll.
32.
You successfully managed to put together a fire.
I'm going to begin cooking the last of my rabbit meat.
You do so. You now have cooked rabbit meat. The smell is intoxicating as you feel very, very hungry, likely due to all your injuries.
I eat some when it has finished cooking.
Very well. You eat a day's worth of rabbit meat. And feel quite restored.
Nothing has appeared yet on the
The
rabbit
warmth
meat.
of the fire has also reduced the swelling, it seems, in your leg somehow. Your leg is still sprained, but you believe you can move a short distance.
Nothing has... while I was doing this, no predator showed up at the meat I threw out?
Nope. In fact, the meat has gone fully rancid. Whatever it is you put on it did not do it any favors.
Do I still... No, I left my quiver, didn't I?
You still have it. It's on your back.
I want to see about making another bow.
You want to try to craft a bow.
Yes.
You spend about an hour attempting this and snap several branches in the process, failing to make anything resembling a bow. You pass out once again. You awaken sometime later. This time, an HP of yours has been restored. You feel somewhat more revitalized. In fact, you feel significantly restored, and are now back to 7 HP.
Oh.
It seems that your overexertion has worn off with rest. And, to top it off, you believe the sprain in your ankle has gone away.
I can move as per normal now?
You can walk, however the injuries in your body still hurt, and you'll be slow. It is the afternoon.
I want to begin moving again. I want to see if I can make it back to civilization again.
You walk, albeit quite slowly, towards back home. However, after several hours, you're only able to make it most of the way there, before it's deep once again into night.
Is there anything around me? Any predators?
Sounds in the distance, but nothing nearby.
I'm going to rest for the rest of the night.
You do so. You awaken feeling quite restored, recovering 1 HP. It is now early morning, and you feel quite a fair bit better, although you are still in a fair bit of pain still, not quite fully healed. you will be able to move as usual.
Alright. I want to continue moving forward. How is the meat that I have on me?
It's
Holding up
gone...
this-
Well, you already ate all of the rabbit meat.
Right. The squirrel meat, though, I assume...
I'm pretty sure you... Oh, did you not eat the squirrel meat?
No, I don't believe I did.
The squirrel meat has gone bad.
Figures. I'm going to toss that to the side and continue moving forward.
You're going into town, correct?
Yes.
Very well. You travel your way towards the town of Aerilon. It's disturbingly quiet. Not a sound to be heard, not even the rustling of the trees or the birds. You don't hear the sounds of laughter or children, and you can't smell the foods of the bakery. You come out of the trees to where the town of Aerilon was. It is now a destroyed, rubbled mess. Aerilon is gone. Well?
I want to continue. I want to continue marching forward. See if
To
there's...
where?
I want to see if there's anyone left. Anyone hiding.
There are bits of people strewn about in the streets, blood everywhere, houses burned down, rubble. Not a soul in sight. Is there anywhere particular you'd like to go?
I'd like to go back to my home.
You do so. You return to your home. The door has been ripped off. Would you like to go inside?
Yes.
You do so. You find, inside of the house, the dead, naked body of your younger sister, who had been stripped, likely raped, beaten, and then impaled on a spike. Any comment?
I'm gonna kill them all. Is there any other details of notice? Any clues as to who might have done this?
Well, you decide that perhaps You might figure something out at the Beastmen Guild. Perhaps they're still here. Perhaps they know what's gone down.
They are still in town?
You don't know. You haven't been there.
I want to... Do I know where they were?
Of course, you
settled
used
at?
to live in this town of Aerilon. You know where the guild hall was.
I want to go see the guild hall then.
The guild hall itself, being made of stone, is mostly intact. However, it's been ripped apart inside. Surprisingly, though, you don't see any corpses.
I want to explore more of the guild hall.
You go inside. It seems as though everything that was in it has been taken. Every drawer, every room, everything opened. It's surprisingly bare, with only torn beds and various pieces of linen and cloth strewn about, and not a single body, but the hall is full of blood. You do, however, find a map.
A map? I examine it.
Oh wait, that's the wrong one. This map. It's a map of the local region, with some notes about the regional area.
Are there any marked areas?
There are 2 marked areas of particular note. Aerilon and Northwich. Aerilon being marked because of its beast hall, and Northwich for its hall. It would appear that in this area, they are the only 2 guilds, or guild halls, for the beastmen that exist.
Targeted raid, perhaps?
Hard to say.
Is there anything else I can deduce from the map and the...
That seems to be about all there is. It's just a map of the local area, and it mentions the location of the 2 guild halls.
I want to step outside and back into the town.
You do so.
Anything of notice? Are there any people? Are there any smells? Is there anything that could catch my attention in this quiet town?
There are nothing but corpses, the smell of blood, and death.
I want to go and visit what's left of the weaponsmith, the blacksmith, or...
You go there.
Is there anything left Is the building still standing?
As you go over to the blacksmith area, you do come across one thing of note in the street. The dead body of a goblin.
Oh no.
And with that, we will end today's session.